It is so nice to be seen and to see everybody here. I am Craig with EP Mixer, and today we are bringing to you a sponsor spotlight with a platinum sponsor from Delta. I guess I should say President and CEO of Delta Strategic Solutions, Mr. Victor Medina. Victor, thank you for your support, your sponsorship, your friendship, your kind words. Thanks for being here today.
Greg, man, it's a pleasure. I'm so grateful, one, to be on with you, but I love what the EP Mixer is doing and just bringing people together. It's such a need within our community and within what we do as protectors, being able to collaborate, build relationships, and you are stepping it up the game big time. So we appreciate you, man.
Well, good, well, good looking out. Good looking out. I blush kind of when I hear stuff like that. It makes me feel like we're making headway. And you had given me a testimonial, or certainly given the event a testimonial, which is what the goal is. Like when I want the focus on that, and I love that you love it. So thank you so much. But we're gonna do a quick intro here, real quick, so people have a little bit of an idea about you. But certainly when they see you, you are fun to talk to. A lot of experience and things like that. But let's just get into it. We are the sponsor spotlight with President and CEO Victor Medina, Delta Strategic Solutions. Victor is a retired NYPD Lieutenant. No small feat there. He brings decades of experience in investigations, intelligence, and counterterrorism to the private sector. Through Delta, he leads a global team delivering intelligence-driven executive protection and security solutions for clients around the world. Let's get into it, because we deal with a lot of entrepreneurs here. We know that you are busy and you have things to do, so we value your time. But let's get into it right away. We've talked a lot. We've been face to face, but I don't think we ever get into the history. It's always like current events, what's happening, when's the next event, what do all that. But let's hear about why you decided. Or what led you to transition out of law enforcement, or from law. I don't say out of it, because I don't know that you guys ever really leave. Cops are just like you. It's like you're in the mindset. But to transition not only from law enforcement, but into founding and leading a company like Delta Strategic Solutions.
So it's actually really a nice story. My partner, Dr. Stephen Martello, who you know, Steve,
yep.
Doc there.
Like Dr. Steve, yeah.
So being an ESU, I'm sure that we had crossed paths I had been on several presidential details, and Doc was the director of presidential advanced operations for the White House for several administrations. So we had crossed paths during these assignments. It just happened, he leaves the White House to go into business, and my wife goes to work at a company. And a month later, he goes to that company and becomes a partner at that company. He's walking by my wife's office, sees a picture of me, goes, wait, I said, I know that guy. And one thing, she goes, yeah, that's my husband, Victor. He's an ESU. One thing leads to another. Says, oh my God, yeah, I know him. I'd like to talk to him again. One thing leads to another. We have a sandwich at a store, and we decide to, at a deli, and we decide to start Delta Strategic Solutions. Well, originally, we were Delta Security Services, okay. And then we changed the name to Delta Strategic Solutions, because we felt Delta Security Services kind of pigeonholed us, that people just thought about security.
Sure.
And we changed it to Delta Strategic Solutions because we wanted to run the gamut, so to speak, with the type of services that we provide. So that's really, we laid the groundwork for Delta in the summer of 2001, but as we know, 9/11 happened, yeah, which delayed us.
Sure.
And we opened up the doors in January of 2002.
Okay, wow. I had no idea that's how long you'd been in business. But I didn't even know that you had been retired as long as you've been retired. Like, you don't look like a guy that could have been retired that long and had become a lieutenant at NYPD. Like it surprised me. And so I was like, oh, this is cool. So that's great. So clearly you've stood the test of time. Your business acumen I'm sure has improved since the first days.
I've made a lot of mistakes, man.
Well, and right. And I don't know if you learn and I'm sure there's plenty of people that could get behind us. So you don't learn as much when you just win all the time. Like maybe you're not sure what you did that propelled you. I mean, sometimes you may know exactly what it was, but how do you know? And sometimes it might just be like I learned from somebody else, right? I saw
Sure.
them with the mistake they made. So, but yeah, as a small business owner myself, I'd rather not talk about the mistakes that I've made
But
and the number of them.
if I could add to that, that's such a great point. So I've learned a lot from Dr. Martello. He's an accomplished businessman. Though we made mistakes along the way, you win from you're going to win, but you learn from your mistakes. And
Sure.
what I love about what you're doing with the EP Mixer and your team is that it gives us the opportunity to be able to learn from others and to invest into others. When we first started, there was really didn't have those organizations that people that would mentor you. And I've been very fortunate to have mentors in my life that have invested into us and helped us grow the business. And I want to pay that forward. And so EP Mixer gives us that opportunity to be able to invest into others, to build those relationships. And it's all reciprocal, right? It's a cycle. People invest into us, we're able to invest into others. And at the EP Mixer, we're able to meet those that, again, will be able to help us grow our business and to be able to circumvent some of the mistakes that we've made.
Sure. Right. And I think it's often overlooked of a networking room is such a learning environment or can be such a learning environment. Like
Mhm.
just to put a period on your thought on that is that it just you can go there and learn. It's connecting, it's networking, it's having some drinks, having some food, but you can learn so much in such a short time from all these perspectives. I think it pays to be at EP Mixer, obviously, but it pays to continue to network as you go on. But I appreciate the kind words on that again, as you were so apt to give, and we appreciate it. But so back to Delta. Delta emphasizes intelligence and investigations as part of their security approach. How does that change the way that you deliver executive protection?
That's a great question. And I think everyone in our community uh, is migrating and growing. You know, back in the day, it used to be, well, you just put somebody out there who looks the part, even has the training, right, and can go out there, somebody that you trust. Today, with technology, with the advance of training, you need to stay at the forefront. So it's critical to again, one, network with people, always look to grow. We know that AI is the great term right now. So ensuring that when you're dealing with not only in government, but in corporate and high net worth individuals and clients and families, uh, they want to know that you understand their problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? One
Sure.
of the things that we speak at Delta is we're a concierge service. Granted, there's people that have risk. We understand that clients that have risk, but what are we doing? How are we showing them, right? How are we educating them? Very important. So learning all what we need to learn with regard to the trends that are growing in our community, in the executive protection community is critical. So providing intelligence, right? Ensuring that we're able to gather information and to properly present it to the client when necessary and present it to our teams is critical. Everything is intelligence based, more so now than ever before. We don't want to just be dropping teams somewhere without having information. We're not doing the client justice. We're not doing the teams justice if we're not supporting them well in the back office with the intelligence information.
Great answer. Yeah, and yeah, it's it becomes part of the advance, right? But it's ongoing, right? Especially when you have a steady client, like that becomes such a, I mean, or it is such a big, or not becomes, it's such a big part of the job, such a driver, to what, how you're going to behave, how you're going to speak to the client, what you're going to say, what are you going to say now versus what are you going to say in 10 minutes or 30 days from now because of this thing that happened, within the last couple of weeks in this country. A lot of things, a lot of geopolitical changes and things like that have happened. And so what is that, and we could talk about that probably for hours. But as a question to your to providers, it's like, what does that mean? What does that mean for your clients? What do they think that it means? And and you're the one behind that, saying, here's what it means, here's how we're going to handle this, and on, right? And so yeah, I think intelligence is such a big part, and then that's been a big part of your career as well. So you've managed operations across multiple regions worldwide. What are some of the biggest challenges, which could be intelligence gathering, but what are some of the biggest challenges in delivering consistent protection on a global scale?
I think that's a great question. Ensuring first that the teams feel supported. The people on the ground need to know that you are there to support them, whether it's training. And we know that the challenges of pulling people for training, because, obviously, whether it's we need to provide the service or the client doesn't want to let Craig go because he likes him there, 16 hours a day.
Right.
Understanding. Matter of fact, I just got a text message from one of our team leads in Mexico, and he was telling us about the client, speaking to the client, April's going to be a very busy month with some of the executives that are coming in. And my first response to him was, and matter of fact, it was just half hour ago. It says, I told him, whatever you need, you let us know, because our job is to make sure that you have what you need so that you can provide the service well to the client. So I think communication, consistency, support, knowing that they're there. And then obviously we spoke about the intelligence piece, and the education piece is critical. And when I think about the education piece, it's educating the client. And if I could share a quick story on that.
Please.
Several years ago, and matter of fact, we still have this client today since 2008. We're providing EP. We're in a challenging area in Mexico. And over time, nothing was happening, thank God, because the team was doing a great job. And so the client calls us, we have a meeting, and they say, listen, we don't think we need you anymore. And we're like, okay, why do you feel that? Well, because nothing's happening. And a light bulb went on. In our manner to protect the client, we were also not giving him or her the information or the education that they needed to know of what we were keeping them away from. And we had that discussion, because obviously you don't want to give them, because more often than not they may be engineers, they may be this is a corporate client actually, they're engineers, they're not executive protection personnel. So it's a different language. And so we weren't giving them the information. It was a valuable lesson. So what we started doing is briefing them on what was transpiring and what were some of the points we were taking to ensure their safety. And they actually, in that conversation, they were very grateful, because, as you know, we didn't know this. Right. And we're grateful that you are advising us of this. And they're a client of ours, like I said, they're a client of ours today. So the education piece and the communication with the client is critical.
And so that is a challenge of they're not knowing, but you're then you're in the immediate position to get them in the know, right? And get the information to them. And if you're with them for a while, like, you understand how to talk to them and what to say. But certainly one of the challenges is them not knowing what you're keeping them from. So you build your value goes up immediately, right? I mean, just in like, okay, maybe we have to rethink this whole thing, and maybe it changes, but maybe it doesn't, because if there's been no disruption, like, you just keep doing what you're doing, right? And what is it? It's like, how a duck, it's like, how a duck's on a pond, like, yeah, everything looks calm above the water, but you're paddling like hell under, beneath, like, just to keep up with whatever,
Right.
with whatever's going on. So anyway, it's a great story, great lesson too. So thanks for sharing that. Now, the part that I always get happy to talk about is networking. So in the field, build on trust, build on relationships. How important, and I think we've kind of gone over this already, but I'm happy to ask you to reiterate it. How important is networking, and what value do you see, or what other values do you see within events like EP Mixer?
Sure. I mean, I'll give you a quick. I think I like to use these little caveat and stories
Mm-hmm.
rather.
Yeah.
When COVID happened, there was a short period of time, probably about a year and a half, where we were not networking. I say we in the collective Delta, and we just saw a little bit of a downturn. And I said, we looked at ourselves, we had conversations, and we realized, I was in the middle of moving to Florida. COVID had happened. There were some other things in life, because life happens, right? And I just noticed that we just had a leveling off. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I networking is critical, not just from a business standpoint. Yeah, the business is important, but the ability to be able to pick up the phone and to give Craig a call and say, hey, bro, by any chance, do you have anybody in Vegas? I got something that came up.
Mm-hmm.
And be able to get that help is important. Because one thing I don't like to do, I don't like to not speak to you for a year and then give you a call and say, hey, I got a job that came up.
Right. Yeah.
Don't like doing that. So
Yeah.
we have a system. We do. I mean, no one. We do our best to stay in touch with our partners.
Mm-hmm.
Send them a quick text. Hey, how you doing, man? Hope you're well. Just want to let you know we've had nothing come your way, but you're in our thoughts. If anything comes up,
Sure.
We're going to give you a shot. I think that's so important. And the EP Mixer and other networking venues give you the opportunity to be able to maintain those relationships on the what we call on the operational side. And from a network, again, the networking perspective, it builds business. Someone that you are looking at from an operational perspective in California, that same individual may say, hey, we got something in New York. Can you help us with that? I think the EP Mixer was, I'm sure, I think that came up through a relationship at the EP Mixer. So I say that to say it's critical to be involved, let people see who you are, know you, build relationships, be consistent. Consistency is key.
Mm-hmm.
It is the backbone to success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that for sure. And great point too of networking. While I'm a belly to belly, press the flesh handshaking guy of networking. Like I just believe that face to face is just the way to go when you can. Based on our industry, we're so spread out. It's not always easy to do that. So to take opportunities like a Mixer and have a date that you can say, I'm going to go on that day and be part of that event. Like the part of the reason that we do it, but also to your point of it's a quick text message. It doesn't have to be this, this big thought out thing. Like I have to be someplace. It is, that's the relationship building, like networking, like the events are great. I love doing them, but the work and network is the after, is the follow-up, is the continuation of a follow-up, is a consistent every 3 months text message or every month text message or a phone call here and there. You meet them where they like to be met. Like I'll tell people, text me first, not because I don't want to answer your call, but I'm doing a lot of things during the day. And if I get pulled off track, sadly, I wish I had the self-discipline to pull myself back on. So it's like, I can't get off track. So just text me. I'll see it and I'll make sure and get back. I won't read. I mean, I might see that it came through, but I won't get into it. But then I'll get back to you or when I have the time or whatever. But just, a quick email, a shout out on social media. There's all these things that you can show like you said, your partners that you're thinking of them. And it doesn't have to be some big, it doesn't have to be where you travel. Zoom, man, during COVID was such a way to stay as connected as you could, you know, without, making the states mad of being, of in face to face or whatever. But yeah, just utilizing all the resources that you have to do it. Just again, as you know, and you just said it, it's critical to stay top of mind, is to stay in front of people. So anyway, Victor, we're pretty much at time here. I know you're busy. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Any parting thoughts, anything you'd like to say to our listeners and viewers here before we cut out?
No, Craig, we're grateful for all your efforts with the EP Mixer and the team. It's going to be fun to see everybody in Vegas next week. It's a good opportunity just to be able to network, see those faces that you haven't seen since last year. Appreciate what you're doing. Thank you for having me on, and see you next week.
Yep, and thanks for your sponsorship, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I want to remind you or tell you, if this is the first time you're hearing it, EP Mixer is happening on Thursday, March 26th, 7 to 10 p.m. at Dave & Buster's in Vegas, technically in Summerlin. Head to epmixer.com. Get yourself registered to give you all the information there. Until then, that's all I got. Hope you have a great one. We'll talk to you real soon.